Hello, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Rhoda's Writing Corner. My name's Rhoda Detour. I'm a published author and the co-founder of Connections e-magazine, connecting authors and readers together. If you'd like to either subscribe or submit to the magazine, make sure that you check out my website at rhodadetour.com or the website of melaniePsmith.com. She also writes paranormal and romance, so be sure to check her out. What I wanted to do today was talk about author networking, how it works, why you should bother getting involved with other authors, how authors can help each other, and how you can save a lot of money, time, and heartache by trying to share information and promote each other. The whole point of the magazine was for the authors in my Facebook group to insert excerpts, put in giveaways, do their promo ads, put it all together in one spot, and then all of us promote it. We're sharing the links to the magazine. We're actually sharing each other's promotions with everybody else, and it creates a much wider audience, much wider reach. Now just imagine, I have 1,000 people on my Twitter, 1,000 people on my Facebook page, 1,000 people on my Facebook profile. So you're talking, I have 3,000 people that I could reach. If 10 other authors all have 3,000 people and we all promote, look at that kind of audience that we're able to expand to. That's why if you go on Twitter, there are author retweet groups that you can look for, and it'll be like hashtag IART, indie author retweet group. There's other ones that you can do, and when you do that and you all start tweeting each other, or if you start hitting that like button or you start hitting that share button, you're going to see people start doing it to you too. For example, yesterday, I had a promotion yesterday, a new release that I was trying to get the word out. Zodiac Lives. It's a thriller about a serial killer, the infamous Zodiac killers from San Francisco. So if you're into that, make sure you check out my website or go on Amazon and look up the book Zodiac Lives by Rhoda Detour. But the reason I bring it up is because I released the book yesterday. I'm sitting here talking to you right now because there are authors out there right now promoting my book. They are sharing my links. They are sharing my website. They are sharing my book trailers. They are sharing the promo photos and the book covers. And they're actually, when you set up a connection with other authors, they're doing that because they know I'm going to share their information. I'm going to tweet them. I'm going to make sure that they get some information that's going to help them. Maybe it's not a matter of sharing. Maybe they're having a formatting issue on their book, or they're having a conversion problem or something of that nature, or maybe they need a book cover and they don't have the money. Then I'll help them out. That's the best way to get anywhere in this business. You can't do it alone. So stop with the buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. Slow down and take a look around. I did the buy my book thing. Everybody does it when they first start. And what happens is you go into these groups and you go into Goodreads and you constantly trying to self-promote. But when you do it and you don't connect with people, it doesn't really get you anywhere. But if you say, hey, guess what? I'll put you on my blog. Let me do an interview of you on my blog. It doesn't cost you anything to post about somebody's book or do their interview. It's not costing them anything. And the next time you need something, they're going to help you out. One of the first things that I tried to do as a new author after I had my book, and I still did the buy my book, and I really wasn't connecting with authors yet, I did a book blog tour thinking that that was the way to go. People had told me, oh, this one tour company's great and that one sucks and this one's awesome, and I just kind of like looked around, and this one tour company looked really impressive to me. So I paid $300 for a month-long blog tour that was supposed to be 15 to 20 blogs. Well, I think it actually wound up at 15. I was told that I could have reviews. Thing was, though, it wasn't ebook reviews, which cost me nothing. They wanted paperbacks. And the thing with paperbacks is that once you give them, you don't know if they're turning around and selling them on eBay or Amazon. And even if they get $2 for it, it's $2 more than they paid for it, and it's $2 out of my pocket. Plus, the money it actually cost me for the book. But that even wasn't the issue at the time. The issue was that I was expecting the $300 to cover everything, and then I got hit with another bill for like $50 of sending out these paperbacks. And then at the end of the month, they came back and told me, oh, okay, this is the list of winners for the giveaways. And again, I had said that I would offer ebooks, and they turned around and wanted paperbacks. So that was another $50 of sending out paperbacks. So I wound up spending $400. I really didn't get any sales. I didn't feel like I got the exposure. What I did get was like 8 or 10 reviews for the book, which I really needed because the book had just come out, but it just came out, and that's why I was doing the blog tour, because I wanted to get exposure for the book. But what I wound up learning is that when it comes to blog tours, you don't always know if the blogs are getting traffic or not. I had actually applied to 5 different blog tours at the time, knowing that I had no traffic on my blog. And initially, I was thinking, well, if I sign up with this tour company, it's going to drive traffic to me. And then after I thought about it, I thought, oh, wait a minute. I just paid $300 for a blog tour, and I felt like I got nothing out of it. Why would I join a company that would allow authors to get screwed? Because basically, somebody would wind up paying $15 or $20 to have me post on my blog that didn't have any traffic. And it's like, how could I ethically, morally do that when all of those blog tours actually approved my application to be a part of their tour? That's when I really got cynical about blog tours. So here's an alternative to the blog tour thing. Hook up with a bunch of authors and then create a post. Ask them if they would repost your post. I don't have WordPress. Melanie P. Smith has WordPress, so I learned this from her. WordPress has a way where if you post something, people can then repost it, and it gives you credit. It's on their blog, so it's sort of connecting the two. But that's supposed to be a really easy way to share somebody's blog post. I haven't found a way to do that on Weebly yet. What I did was I created a blog post out of an HTML code. And if you learn just a couple little codes, you can actually create a blog post with images and book covers and everything, and have it bold or have a heading banner looking type of thing, and then save it onto Google Docs. And what I did was, on my own personal profile, I wrote on there, attention bloggers and authors, I'm looking for people who are willing to copy and paste my blog post. And here's the HTML code. So all they had to do was copy and paste onto their HTML gadget, widget, or element, depending on what kind of blog they have. It took people like 2 minutes, and it gave them content for their blog. It gave me exposure, and I didn't have to pay anything. And what wound up happening was I had 40 different authors and bloggers that signed up to promote my giveaway for that day. I was doing a free promo on Amazon, and I wound up giving away 1,000 copies of my book, all because these authors were willing to just blog me, and all they had to do was copy and paste. I know who those people are, so if any of those people wind up needing anything, if they want me to retweet, if they want me to share a post, if they even want a review, I'll go do that. Now, when it comes to reviews, I'm always honest. I think I'm fair, and I try not to hurt people's feelings. I try to give constructive criticism. If you look at my reviews on my website, you'll never see me bash anybody. But I think at the same time, I don't want to lose my own credibility by rating a review that might be a little bit more glowing than it should be. And the thing is, when it comes to books, everybody has different opinions and different tastes. But back to the networking, when you have problems and things you don't know about, we all have skills in different areas. I'm getting pretty good with the GIMP and designing the covers. I just start really using it about 6 months ago, but I'm learning how to use it more and more every day, and I'm getting really good. I'm working on the formatting. I have somebody else in my group that's really good with search engine optimizations. If he has questions about cover design or working with the formatting, I can help him out and he can help me out with this search engine optimizations, the SEOs. If you can surround yourself with knowledgeable people who are nice, who are helpful, who are cooperative, who are not belittling, take advantage of that. And don't be stingy. If somebody takes upon themselves to go and share your posts or retweet for you, make sure you thank them and make sure you reciprocate. There are some people out there who are just so selfish, and I've seen it. This one lady, she wanted me to do everything for her for free. She wanted me to edit her book, to format her book, to upload it for her, to design her a cover. I don't really mind doing it, but she was so demanding that it was like, well, I want it now. Well, then guess what? Screw you, lady. It ain't happening. Good luck with that. And my Jersey girl attitude had to come out there because it just got to the point where I sent her some of the pictures and the elements, and I just said, okay, here it is. I'm done with you. I've been doing this for 4 hours, and you're nitpicking everything, and I don't know why you thought that I would have nothing better to do the day before Thanksgiving than to sit here on your book cover for 3 hours, which I'm not even getting paid for. So there are people that will try to take advantage of you. Make sure that you put up a wall and you figure out who they are, but give everybody a chance because you just never know. I think some people they're not on the same mental level as you all the time. So there might be somebody that just doesn't have the intelligence to keep up with you. And then there might be somebody who plays dumb, thinking, well, I'll play dumb and then she'll feel bad for me and she'll go do this. Trying to figure out who to trust, who to work with, who's knowledgeable. Because I did find one woman that absolutely, she was adamant. This is the way it's supposed to be done. I'm telling you, this is the way it's supposed to be done. And I believed her in the beginning. And then when I found out the way the formatting really worked, she was completely wrong. But I had believed her. And so sometimes, yeah, you have to research things. You have to research people. We just had a situation today where one of my author friends who write Beatles books, she wrote to me saying that there was this publisher guy that was interested in her and he was talking to her about trying to gain her book. Even though she didn't submit to him and he didn't read it, he was really going at her and going after her. Now, my first episode of the podcast was about exactly this man. I actually asked her to put me in a chat. So I was in a Facebook chat with her and this man. I said to him, what is your website's name? Because I couldn't find the company in a Google search. So then he gave it to me. And then I found the website, but I still was not able, when you just punched into Google, I was not able to find his website or his company name at all. My thing was, I admit that I was a little rough with this guy, I guess. If I was pretty adamant, I think, but I wasn't trying to be rude. The thing is, when you Google Road a Detour, you're going to see 6, 7, 8, 10 pages of links of where I am all over the internet. Blog posts I've been on, of books I reviewed, and books that people review, whatever, my audio books and everything. You're going to see that. And if there's going to be a publisher that wants to come after me, he better have more links than I do. When I Googled this one guy, he didn't have any. This author friend of mine, she has never self-published. She had gone through a traditional publisher with her other books, so she's really not used to having to be on the lookout for scams and snakes and that kind of thing. I was in this chat with this guy and I was asking him, well, how are you planning on publishing? How are you distributing? And he really couldn't tell me. It turned out that his company has never actually published under that name, that it was two separate self-published authors that were coming together that wanted to create a publishing company, but yet the two of them had published erotica and they wanted to branch out into other genres. And when I start asking them, well, how are you going to market? Well, I have a marketing degree. Yeah, but how are you going to reach the audiences outside of erotica? Because usually those audiences are very specific. Some people are very offended by erotica, so you don't usually see erotica in Goodreads groups, let's say. They're separate erotica groups. In the main genre groups on Facebook, some of those groups will say no erotica allowed, and they have to have separate erotica groups. When you're talking about a publisher who's talking about doing a different kind of a book, a different fiction or poetry or even a cookbook, and all his experiences in erotica, guess what? forget it. This author felt comfortable enough to come to me. And I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just giving her my own knowledge of what I've seen in the past, asking this man questions. When she was sitting there looking at the way he was answering it, she made up her own mind. The thing is that I would hate to see what would have happened had she not felt that she could reach out to somebody. She might have been one of those people that got screwed over. And that's what author networking is all about. It's helping each other. It's teaching each other. It's looking out for each other. We're going to do the blog hop with the e-magazine. Connections e-magazine is sponsoring a fall festival blog hop from October 3rd to October 13th. So all you need to do is hook up on my website or Melanie P. Smith. She has a magazine page on her site. It has all the details about the blog hop, how you can register, and we're going to link all the blogs together. We're going to do giveaways. We're going to share each other's audiences, and we're all going to promote each other at the same time. It doesn't cost anything. There are plenty of ways to connect with people and reach further audiences by not costing anything. Here's another idea. When you review for other authors, change your name on Amazon. My reviewing name actually says fiction author wrote a detour. And what I'm doing is I'm putting my name out there in front of audiences I wouldn't normally reach. And then I go and I review books that are in my same genre. I just wrote Zodiac Lives. I review James Patterson. I review Mike Wells. I'll review John Reinhardt Dizzen because they're all thriller writers. They're all suspense writers. I'll do David Baldacci because that's my target audience. By writing a review for a book I already bought and read anyway is going to put my name in front of them. And who knows? You don't know if somebody's going to go click on it. Even if you're in IMDb, I never even thought of this, but I used to go IMDb message forums all the time. And you know what I did? I put the link to my website in the signature. I actually can see on the stats on my website how much traffic IMDb is sending me because of my signature link. It was somebody else that told me to do that. Now, yes, I do have my links in my signature for my email, but doing it for forums, message forums, and things like that, I never thought about that. I guess because I'm not one of those people that I would go and click on it because I just don't care. But there are people that are really curious about everything, and they do care. It's just something that's that easy. Like I said, it was somebody else that taught me to do that. You can learn a lot from the different authors. Ask any questions you have, because I run into authors who haven't published yet and they start to say that they're too embarrassed. Even in my group, I have 400 people in my group, and some of them are really silent and they don't talk in the normal discussion, but they'll email me or they'll message me and they'll ask me a question that they think is stupid or they're embarrassed to ask. But it's not stupid because it's one of those questions that we all need it to learn. If you never upload it to Create Space before, you might think it's a lot more difficult than what it is. If you never looked into the whole idea of like Lulu, for example, Lulu does hardcovers now, and so does Nook Press. Some people don't know that. Barnes & Noble does the print-on-demand hardcovers, and they're a lot cheaper than Lulu. Lulu wanted $55 just for my book of a hardcover that was 350 pages. $55. So what am I going to do? Turn around and sell that book for $75 just so I can make a profit? Who's going to buy that book? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. But at Nook Press with Barnes & Noble, that same book was only $15. I have a much better chance of selling that book for $20 than I do trying to sell the one from Lulu. But again, it was another author that turned me on to the hardcover option of Barnes & Noble. It's not like I saw it promoted somewhere. It's not like it came into my news feed. It was another author. Regardless of, I know some people that will say, well, I'm just too busy. I got too much stuff to do. I got too much to do. You'd be shocked. Guess what? These authors, they'll buy each other's books. I am so shocked when I wind up seeing a review on one of my books that came from an author who never told me she was reading my book or he was reading my book, and I just happened to see that person's name on the review, and I'm like, wow, I had no idea. And not only that, but it kind of gives you a good feeling to think, well, they've been watching me this long, and the book interested them enough to try it. Plus, I think that dealing with some of these disappointments, when you have a network of authors that you can rely on, you have somebody that's going to be able to share in some of your disappointments. We're very attached to our work as authors. When you're talking to family and friends, they're not going to understand how bad it feels to get a 2 or 1 star review. But if you go into these author groups and you explain, everybody understands. We all have sympathy and empathy for each other. In that situation, you have a little bit more of a support group. You have a network that you can rely on. And then, of course, it goes the other way. When you have a new release or cover release, or you just made bestseller top 100 in your genre and you want to scream and yell and jump up and down, we're all there for each other. People ask me all the time, what's the best way for me to promote my book? What's the best website I want to spend money? My answer's got to be, get with the authors. That's what you should be doing. You should be getting with the authors. It's the authors that are going to pump your book. It's the authors that are going to pimp your book and make sure that it's read. The honest to God truth is, even if you get a few that wind up reading your book and reviewing it, if you write a great book, there are some authors out there that are going to be sharing your book all over the place, and they're going to be telling their readers and their friends, and I don't even mean just once in a little blog. I mean, I have some author friends that go on and on and on about some of my books, and I'm like, wow, I never expected that. I didn't even think that you'd like a book where somebody gets, killed on their wedding night or something like that. But you'd be really surprised at how helpful people can be. I like to pay it forward. Like I said, there were people in the beginning that helped me out, and they've guided me along the way, and they're still there for me when I need to ask questions, when I need information. Almost 2 years later, those same people are still there for me, and I'm going to still be there for them. That's my advice for today. I have an awesome authors page on my website. If you go under the free chapter heading, I have everything for readers, including my ebook free chapters and the audio books free chapters, but there's also an awesome author page, and I broke it down by genre. If you want to get added to that, then be sure to email me at rotedetour@gmail.com. Send me your Amazon author profile link and your genre and your pen name, and I'll put you on my site. In closing, make sure you check out my magazine. Make sure you go converse with some authors today. And go hit that like and share button, hit that retweet button, make some friends, get out there and sell some books. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening. Bye.